more. Let's bring in now David Aldridge from the NBA house in Rio via Cisco. And DA, last two wins by a combined total of 13 points. What's the story, DA? What do you see?
Well, look, this team was advertised, Vince, as one that was going to be a great defensive team. They were going to be able to switch and shut people down. They had a lot of length on the wings, but really the last two games, they've been taken apart. Australia did it, and then Serbia did it on Friday night, and their guards were able to do whatever they wanted, get into the paint, create opportunities both for their bigs and for the three-point shooters. And then Jokic on Friday night just took them apart. On the low post, hit a couple of threes. He really played well. They really had a great game plan. So did Australia. They were ahead at the half. It's the first time the U.S. has been down at the half since 2004. They just got worn down a little bit by the U.S. team as the game went on. But certainly there is no fear of this U.S. team by the rest of the world as this tournament goes on.
That's such a great point, DA, that the rest of the world is not afraid of the NBA players anymore because a lot of those guys are being a part of that. With that being said, Coach Boeheim said a few days ago there was a lot of slippage in the focus. The defense, the offense, the ball hasn't been moving the last couple games. Do you think the guys are maybe a little lackadaisical because they went through exhibition season so easily?
3D, that's a good point. They obviously didn't have any competition in the States during those exhibition games. In the first two games here, they also were not pressed at all. So, yeah, a little adversity. Maybe they need to get used to that. And Paul George said the other day that they're learning. They're learning how to play with each other. They're learning defense. They've talked the last couple of games about communicating better defensively, talking more defensively. It's something that they are not maybe used to doing with one another, but they better get used to it. As you guys mentioned, they play France on Sunday, and you've got Parker and Diaw and guys. These are NBA players you're playing against, and they're not going to be afraid of you. So they're going to come after them and really give them a great test, I think, on Sunday. And this previews the medal round, I think, going forward. It's not going to get any easier. They very easily could see Australia again in the gold medal game. They could get Spain or Brazil before that. Brazil played an incredible game on Saturday. Double overtime game against Argentina that they frankly should have won, but Argentina figured out a way to pull it out at the end. So it is not going to be easy for this U.S. team. And, the personnel is the personnel, but there is some stagnation offensively. They go long stretches where they're not moving the ball very much.
Yeah, DA, I want to talk to you about Argentina and Brazil in a moment, but to your point about the ball sticking, the composition of this team has one really traditional point guard in Kyle Lowry, and we don't have a guy like LeBron James on this team or a Chris Paul. Right. So they're still learning to play together. There's still some isolation there. How do you work through that, and is just iso ball going to be good enough?
Well, it's going to be interesting, Vince, to see what Coach Krzyzewski does in terms of matchups and personnel. Kevin Durant went long stretches against Serbia without getting the ball, without touching the ball. And you just can't have that for a guy who's your best scorer. Kyrie Irving's a terrific player. He's a great player. But, in terms of point guard, I agree with you. I think that Kyle Lowry is more of a traditional point guard, and it will be interesting to see going forward if Coach Krzyzewski puts Kyle Lowry and Durant on the floor together, Kyle Lowry and Carmelo on the floor together, to maybe get a little bit more flow offensively than they've had during these stretches where they were up 27-9 and the ball was moving, and then really for the last 30-plus minutes of the game, the ball didn't move much at all, so they got to figure that out.
Yeah. Sometimes you can out-talent somebody, and then sometimes you don't out-talent somebody, but for the most part, right, the USA has been able to do that. All right, back to Brazil and Argentina, really the great soccer rivalry in the world. Yeah. What was it like to be witness to that game that you mentioned, that double overtime win for Argentina?
Oh, my God, Vince. I mean, it was one of the best games I've ever that I've seen and been a part of in my life. And because of the incredible atmosphere in that stadium, the Brazilian fans outnumbered the Argentina fans by a great amount, but there were a lot of Argentina fans there. As you mentioned, soccer, everything, these two countries next to each other. As Keith Jackson said, they plain don't like each other. and it showed through the whole game. I mean, they were chanting and singing. It was great to watch this incredible competitiveness. Nene played a phenomenal game for his country. He did an incredible job for Brazil, but in the end, I don't even know how Argentina won this game. I mean, the comeback, they were down 6, both at the end of regulation and at the end of the first overtime with about 2.5 minutes to go, and both times came back, made some incredible shots down the stretch. Some of their younger guys really played well, but it was the old guy, Andres Nocioni, who we're all familiar with in the NBA, 37 points before fouling out, hit the game-tying 3 at the end of regulation. He was incredible, and they did a great job. This Argentina team is not as good as they used to be when they won world championships and won medals in the Olympics, but they put it on the line on Saturday, and they really should be commended for the effort they gave, because they were in a hostile environment going against the Brazil team, and really it sounded like the whole country of Brazil was in that arena.
Well, no question about it. Argentina 3-1 now in that tough Group B. Brazil is 1-3. They may not get out of the prelims, but you saw it firsthand. David, always a pleasure to speak with you. I love the fact you're fired up for Olympic basketball down there in Rio. We'll talk to you down the line, man.
Thanks, man. It's a lot of fun. It's really great basketball.
Yeah, I'm picking up on that. Thank you, David Aldridge.